Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Tuesday night. Hope everybody's having a great week so far. Happy to have you guys in for another edition of the Prime Time Show. We are going to discuss this evening Tommy TV. He has taken over the NFL for the better part of 25 years at this point, and he's not done with us yet. Tom Brady and his latest business venture, as reported today, are really, so it's probably the biggest story in sports so far. We'll talk about what that may look like and what exactly to expect from Tom Brady, because obviously this is not an immediate situation. This is not going to be something for the 2022 season. We'll do all of those things, a gone viral video as well. Happy to have you guys in for tonight's show. Before we get things started, I need you guys to share this show on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, if you would be so kind. Facebook Live as well. If you're hanging out with us on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I'm doing it on my Facebook page right now. If you are in YouTube or on Twitch, please do us the courtesy of subscribing to the A to Z Sports channel, where you can get our live stream coverage 7 days a week of all of your favorite local sports. And that while you're at it, by the way, if you would like the video on YouTube, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Those YouTube likes help this show grow. So just as you do for Austin and Zach in the morning, do us the courtesy of liking this video as well. And now that more of you are here, we can go ahead and begin this evening's program officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Tuesday night. I'm your host, Buck Rising, if you're new to the show, and I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by our friends at Buddy Allen Carpet One. Buddy Allen Carpet One, don't stress the mess. Get the best in the business when it comes to home renovation. BuddyAllenCarpet1.com is where you go for your full-service flooring needs. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Gary Ashton, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, is the Ashton Real Estate Group. Find out more about what they can do for you at GaryAshton.com. And of course, Two Rivers Ford, since 1983, nearly 40 years, providing exceptional customer service and quality American-made Ford vehicles. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So, Tom Brady today was announced as the newest addition, future addition even, because he's going to be playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for at least this next season. He's going to be doing games for Fox as their lead color commentator, replacing Troy Aikman, and Kevin Burkhardt will be his broadcast partner, replacing Joe Buck. James Hughes says, Buck works 7 days a week, must be a millionaire. Well, listen, I'm doing pretty well for myself, and I do work every day, but I would say that I'm not making Tom Brady money just yet. Perhaps when my contract is up, I will be able to do so. But you know, when I tell you how much money Tom Brady is making whenever he decides to step off of the football field and into the broadcast booth, even I, as good as I think I am, it's going to be tough for me to get to that particular dollar amount. So what Tom Brady is going to do is Fox is basically offering a contract whenever you want to be done. We're waiting for you. We're ready for you to come do games for us. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are now going to be doing Monday Night Football as a part of ESPN's crew, which is a substantial upgrade over Monday Night Football broadcast booths of the past. But now with Tom Brady, this is a big acquisition. And you know, I know Joe Buck talked about how Fox never even made a counter when it came to potentially trying to keep his services, and now we know why, because they were saving all the money for television Tom. So let's start with your Two Rivers Ford take here on a Tuesday evening. The question that I have for you is this: fair or foul? Tom Brady getting 10 years, $375 million for broadcasting after he retires from the NFL. Whenever he decides he could play for one more season, he could play for 5. How much do you think is too much or too little for the services of Tom Brady, future broadcaster? Let me know in the comment section, fair or foul. We will discuss it at length together right after I tell you about the people who make the Two Rivers Ford take possible. That is, of course, Two Rivers Ford. Two Rivers Ford has not only the custom order program, the Built For You program, when you go visit them in Mount Juliet, they also have one of the state's largest selections of quality Ford pre-owned vehicles. Two Rivers Ford is one of the most reliable places for you to get a new or pre-owned car. You will work with their non-commissioned sales team who will put zero pressure on you, just looking to help you find the best possible value for your family's budget and for your needs. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet is where you go. Build your next Ford at Two Rivers Ford or online at tworiversford.com. So, Tom Brady going to be in the broadcast booth. The reported details of his deal, 10 years, $375 million. This was Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network earlier today.
Yeah, all of that is wild. You know, and Andrew Marchand has a joke about everyone wants to cover sports media.
Exactly.
He actually does it, so I will trust him on those numbers. A massive, massive salary for Tom Brady. Much, much bigger than whatever he's making for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. But there's so much here for Tom Brady. And this actually answers, guys, a lot of questions. There's been so much discussion about what is Tom Brady going to do after he retires. Is he going to, become a part owner of the Miami Dolphins and then do some other things? We now actually know the answer. He is going to join Fox as a lead analyst alongside Kevin Burkhardt, which is awesome because Burkhardt is awesome and a great, great guy. And we are going to hear from Brady for the foreseeable future. And perhaps he saw Peyton Manning and his brother Eli do a little thing on the Manning cast and was like, you know what? I could probably do that. So he goes with the more traditional thing. But here's my question, guys. So Fox has a Super Bowl coming up this year.
Yep. Got a couple.
If Tom Brady, who is still playing this year, if his team loses and he knows that he's done, does he jump in the booth for the Super Bowl? I asked a Fox spokesman. He declined to comment. Certainly leaves some interesting questions going.
So, fair or foul, $375 million over a 10-year period, $37.5 million a year for Tom Brady as a broadcaster. The NFL is rigged, man. That man is the NFL, says Alonzo Henderson. And yeah, you're correct. Tom Brady is the NFL. He's the biggest marquee name. He's the biggest draw. He's their greatest winner. He's Super Bowl champion 7 times over. He is football. Tom Brady is the most identifiable face across decades at this point in professional football. And as Puka points out on YouTube, and I suppose Michael Kay on ESPN in New York made this point, Brady is going to be a huge asset for Fox Sports. It will mainstream the Fox Sports brand in ways that they have never been mainstreamed, even with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. It will be an incredible draw for sponsors. Tom Brady will continue to make money on top of the $37.5 million a year because he's going to be all the Corona commercials that you see Tony Romo in. Think about how much more Tom Brady is going to get of those and how much more Tom Brady is going to cost than 0-time Super Bowl winner, but, fun television broadcast guy, Tony Romo. This is going to be a massive deal. And in the context of what the market says you're worth, it's absolutely fair. Now, I saw an interesting graphic from The Athletic today about how much or who the top paid sports broadcasters are. In fact, I'd like to ask you the question, who do you think the top 5 paid sports broadcasters are? Include Tom Brady in that at his $37.5 million a year. He is the most expensive, or will be the most expensive, on an annual basis. Who do you think the other 4 names on that list are? I'd be curious to hear your response. But as far as what this is for Tom, it's going to be more conventional, right? He did do the Manning cast this year. He was great on the Manning cast. I would prefer to see him in a setting like that as opposed to a super stiff, super rigid, super, television, cheesy broadcaster booth. But that's I think most people's preferred way to watch football. I enjoy the Manning cast because I don't need somebody to tell me what the down and distance is every 30 seconds. with each new play. I don't need somebody to tell me that the Titans are inside the 20-yard line and getting ready to make a red zone push, or it's 4th and inches and they just need one stop to make sure that Josh Allen doesn't convert and tries to score another touchdown on them, or to prevent it from going to overtime. I know all that stuff. Now, some people don't. Some people are not necessarily don't. You guys have been watching football for a long time. Most of you understand the fundamentals of how football works, and you don't need it narrated to you. But some people like that, and some people don't want all the bells and whistles and the more fun and engaging version of what a broadcast booth could look like, which is most recently exampled by the Manning cast. But, I think Brady's going to do well, and I think it's a pretty interesting circumstance. Jeff Sawyer says Buck and Aikman, Jim Nance and Romo are the other 4 names. Romo is for sure one of them. Daniel Anderson says that's correct. Peyton, Big Ben, and Eli, none of those people are currently broadcasters, and none of those people are paid by Broadcast Network. Peyton and Eli are contracted employees as a part of Omaha Productions, which is Peyton Manning's own broadcast company. So they are not, they're not eligible for this because they're not ESPN or Fox or CBS employees. Shannon Sharp is in there, says Keelan Watson. No, incorrect. Al Michaels is in there. No, Al Michaels at $11 million a year this year for Amazon at 77 years old, not in there, which is crazy to me. Actually, no, forgive me. Al is making $9 million a year from Amazon. I'll give you the full list right now. So the top 5 highest paid broadcasters, including Tom Brady at $37.5 million a year. Let's work from the bottom up, okay? Stephen A. Smith at ESPN. Stephen A. just got a fat new contract. Stephen A.'s making $10 million a year. He's number 5, with Tom Brady being number 1. Michael Strahan is next on that list at Fox Sports. So Tom Brady's colleague. Tom Brady is worth $20.5 million more a year than Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan's making $17 million a year from Fox, but also that does not include his, I think he's on Good Morning America. Good Morning America. One of the morning, network news shows. Nate Burleson also doing that for CBS, but he is not on that list. So Stephen A. at 10, Strahan at 17, Romo at 18, Jim Rome at $30 million a year. Blew my mind. Now, I've never heard Jim Rome say a word other than that clip that's been going around I think Jim Rome was at ESPN, right? With the Chris Everett. He was chirping it like a Rams quarterback or something like that. I don't even know what the Everett's first name was that he was insulting. He kept calling him the name of I think a female tennis player was Chris Everett. Anyway, like that viral clip where the quarterback gets pissed off, flips over the desk and goes at Jim Rome. That's the only time I've heard Jim Rome's voice in my life. $30 million a year from CBS Sports. Now I know Jim Rome is legendary sports radio guy, right? He's like right up there in the what do you call it? Mount Rushmore, whatever the case may be, about all these different things. I am looking at the circumstance for Jim Rome and saying that is complete. Jim Everett, thank you, BK Titans 85. $30 million a year, according to The Athletic, and The Athletic covers the media business. Jim Rome worth $30 million. Shout out to Jim Rome. I don't know if he's good. I don't know if he sucks. All I know is that man is worth $30 million a year, and respect to Jim Rome for commanding that amount of money. If Jim Rome can make 30, then it gives us all hope that we can make 30. William Young says Jim Rome is huge on radio. All the truckers and over-the-road drivers love him. And listen, that's for talk radio people. I'm shocked at how many people, the vast majority of people that come up to me about the radio show are Lyft drivers, right? Which, makes all the sense in the world. Lyft drivers and Uber Eats drivers. Those are the kind of people that usually, like not anytime I get in a Lyft, but probably, if I'm taking 10 lifts a month, probably 6 of them, somebody will say something to me. And every once in a while, it'll be, they want to argue about Ryan Tannehill, or they listen to the radio show. And it's funny. It's funny because, of course, that makes all the sense in the world. You're in your car all day. You're listening to music. You're probably listening to podcasts. Maybe you listen to the radio too. So that's always funny to me. But yeah, if you got the truckers on your side, you're making money, baby, in the sports radio business. Randy Hemperk says, Jim Rome, OMG. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know Jim Rome to be any sort he's not, I don't want to say that he's irrelevant because $30 million, somebody cares about what Jim Rome has to say. But like, I have never heard or seen an opinion from Jim Rome. Like, Jim Rome doesn't go viral on the internet. Jim Rome doesn't have inflammatory tweets like Skip Bayless or Stephen A. It's weird. I'm dying to know. Do you tell them about Two Rivers Ford during the conversation? What? No, though I have recorded radio spots for that. As a matter of fact, for Two Rivers Ford and for Buddy Allen Carpet One and for Gary Ashton and all of the other great sponsors who make my radio show free for you guys. So let's move on and discuss what this will look like. And basically, what I want to ask you the question, Reed. Let's improvise a little bit. Well, no, actually, we're gonna save the second question, or rather, I've mixed up my questions. Forgive me, Reed. I'm doing the show out of order. We will discuss this at length together. The question that I'm going to ask you is this: would you rather see Brady in the normal broadcast booth with, play-by-play guy, Brady, and sideline reporter on the big Fox broadcast? So that would be what? Erin Andrews is a part of she is the Fox, the primary Fox sideline reporter. Would you rather see him in a booth like that, or would you rather see him do something creative like the Manning cast? Let me know on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We'll talk about it together right after I tell you about our friends at Buddy Allen Carpet One. They are the place that you go for your next home renovation. So I have a home that I bought through the Ashton team, and my home has carpet in 3 rooms. Now, if you are aware of what my home life looks like, I have 2 cats, and I did not want to declaw my cats because that seemed cruel, to rip out the cat's fingernails. I wouldn't want that done to me. Why the hell would I want to do that to the cats? So as a result, they tear the hell out of my carpet. Buddy Allen Carpet One is the place that I am going to go, that I am in the middle of going to replace the floors in my home. I'm going to put hardwood in my office, in my bedroom, and in my guest room. Buddy Allen Carpet One is going to work with me through the first time that I talk with Zach or Jenna or Judson, any of the great Allen family members. They're going to work with me through post-installation, and they'll do the exact same for you. Buddy Allen Carpet One is where you go, or BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. So, would you prefer to see Brady do something conventional, or would you prefer him to do something creative? Let's see. Mark Jones says, I'd rather listen in Spanish. Well, if you're going to understand it in Spanish, I'm sure they have Spanish language options for you, Mark. Stephen would like to see a Manning cast version. Sam the Man says the conventional booth. Linares agrees with that assessment. Booth for William Young. Normal booth for Derek R. Stephen King says, I would rather him take his money, his wife, and his kids and just leave our lives already. Yeah, it's not happening. It's never happening. In fact, Brady didn't even want to spend time with his wife and his kids, right? He was retired for 40 days, and now he's going to ensure that he never has to do it for that long of a time period ever again. Because he's going to be traveling for football games, right? He's going to be doing Fox's Game of the Week. He's going to be on a plane. He's going to be close to the game. He's going to, avoid having to do soccer dad stuff. And Giselle will be happy because he's not having 300-pound linemen running at his head for, now going at, what is he? Is Brady going into his 24th year? It's absurd at this point. No, not 24. I think it's 22 seasons of Brady so far. Reed might fact check me on that, because if Tom Brady was playing in his 24th season, that would mean that he is older than the Tennessee Titans era of football. And that cannot be the case, because there's 23 seasons of Titans football. There cannot be 24 seasons of Brady. He was not a part of the league when the Houston Oilers, or I guess the Tennessee Oilers at the time, were still playing football. I'm pretty sure this is season number 22 for Tom. Terrific. Mark Jones says, Tom is still a cheater. Being around football forever doesn't change that fact. Nobody cares. People don't care about cheating. Nobody cares about cheating. The only thing you care about is if the officials get the call wrong. If steroid era was the best era of baseball, there is no disputing this. If DeAndre Hopkins has just gotten a 6-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs, does that make my experience watching DeAndre Hopkins do anything or do spectacular things any different? Of course not. I don't care what DeAndre Hopkins. I hope that he's doing safe things to enhance his performance, but I don't care what he puts in his body. I don't care what Tom Brady does to football. So don't care about any of it. 7 Super Bowl championships. That's all I give a damn about. That's all anybody's going to remember. And the only people who are going to call him a cheater are the ones whose teams he beat, right? That's how it goes. Tom gets to define however he wants to define this. And people, A-Rod was a cheater, right? A-Rod is accused of steroid use. A-Rod is now the marquee name for Fox and for ESPN's baseball coverage. They have to split A-Rod because everybody wants a piece. Tom Brady's going to be the exact same thing. Tom gets to decide how he gets remembered. And if you choose to remember him as a cheater, well, that's just a waste of time, So as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see him do something more like the Manning cast, but I'd rather have something more like the Manning cast. I don't, like I said, I think that the conventional broadcast booths are boring. I think that, they've served a purpose for a long time. I don't understand why the hell it took somebody so long across decades upon decades of broadcasting professional football to figure out just something different than play-by-play, color, sideline reporter. Great. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you just want to, no nonsense, no frills broadcast. That's not me. I got the attention span of a small rodent. I want a lot of flashy, shiny things around me. I want big name guests. I want, Peyton Manning putting on a helmet that's too small for him and drawing up plays on a whiteboard while Eli laughs at him in his sweater vest. Like, I want all of those things. I don't care about the traditional broadcast booth. In fact, I listen to games on mute because I'm never home. I'm never home to watch. I mean, I'm working on Sundays, right? So I'm at a stadium every Sunday. Well, not every Sunday if they have a bye week, but you know what I'm saying. Like, every Sunday that the Titans play, any Monday that the Titans play, any Thursday that the Titans play, I'm working. So I'm not watching these games live. So anytime I go back and watch, every time I go back and watch these games, I'm doing it on mute because I'm watching it from a different standpoint. Does LeBron sign a $326 million deal for NBA games to one-up Brady? LOL. Listen, LeBron and Brady are worth whatever people will pay them to be worth. And if somebody wants to play LeBron James $326 million over 10 years and Tom Brady 300 and what is it? Well, he wouldn't one-up Brady, right? Because it's $375 million is the deal for Tom Brady. So no, that's not a one-upping of Tom Brady at all. In fact, that's damn near $50 million less than Tom Brady is worth. So not a one-upping whatsoever. I'd rather the Manning cast is unique, and they've tried a couple of different things like that have had some success and have not. I always prefer that as an alternative. I'd always rather watch those games on those kind of broadcasts if I have the option to do so, because a lot of times the games are stinky and I don't want to have to watch a whole stinky football game. I'd rather have Peyton and Eli entertain me, and I think Tom Brady could do that quite well. But he will do the conventional broadcast booth. All right, let's do a gone viral video and wrap things up this evening. Let me know on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch the answer to the next question. Did Tom Brady's social media team actually get him this broadcasting job? Let me know your opinion on it in the comment section, and we will discuss at length together right after I tell you about our friends at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com, that's where you go for your dream address without the stress. The Ashton team is the best in the business and will help you win with the Intel Edge. That Intel Edge allows you to sell your home without any staging or showings. It allows you to sell your home for more whenever you choose to do so, and to find your next dream address without the stress while the market is still red hot. GaryAshton.com is where you go for the official real estate agent of all your favorite sports teams and your favorite streaming late night sports talk show. So, how do you feel about Tom Brady? Did his social media team get him the job, or did Tom Brady's name get him the job? Honestly, the answer is probably a little bit of both.
You want me to step on it?
What you call an icon living? Start a record label, Misfits just did it. Nylon cover 5 minutes. Whoa, we are too hot in the business.
We broke the screen. Bro, Brady brand, my zero-weight track jacket. Looks pretty great. That's what we're trying to sell right here. And I got to get a new phone, so.
About to make a movie independent.
I was rewatching the broadcast from last night, and I heard Tony say,
Tom does that in the pocket all day long. That's the same thing he does to move people with his eyes, because he's slow, right? He can't actually make someone miss.
So is he not watching? Because...
Oh, wow! Hughes is coming from the backside. He felt it, and he slides up. Stepping up, gonna run for it again. Oh, watch it.
Hey, EA, tell Peyton to jack my speed rating back up.
New trend alert. Tell me something honest.
Tuck Rule game against the Raiders.
Might have been a fumble.
He's really good. He's really good. Tom Brady's got a good social media team. And also, Tom Brady apparently has a great personality, which would be news to all of us because he spent 20 years of his career hiding it. And now all of a sudden he goes down to sunny Tampa Bay and he's hanging out with scotch sipping Bruce Arians and he wants to do TikTok videos following Justin Bieber's TikTok trends. It's always funny. That's going to do it for us tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Radio show is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Mike Golick Jr. is on the show and Chris Childers of Sirius XM ESPNU Radio. We got a lot of things to talk about in the world of college football, and Titans rookie minicamp gets underway. I'm going to have a lot of great coverage for you because Noctropolis asked me before the show, can we do break? So here's what he asked me. I'll go through each of these slides and then we'll wrap up for the night. He says, tomorrow, can we talk about these dudes? The Titans inked. He literally copied and pasted a Jim Wyatt press release from the Tennessee Titans organization to find all these names because they're all the undrafted guys. So he says, can we talk about these dudes? Then he adds a second slide. Can we talk about those dudes? Then he adds a third slide. Can we talk about these guys? And my answer to him is no. I intend to spend absolutely zero time on camp bodies until they make the active roster or the practice squad, or they have to play in a substantial game. You guys are not going to do the Mason Kinsey thing to me again for another offseason. I will not tolerate it. I'm respectful of any of those guys who are pursuing their NFL opportunities, but until such time as they matter or are of consequence to the football team, I intend to discuss zero of that. So if you would like to do that, you can do your own research as you like, and perhaps we can have an engaging conversation on social media about it. Because there will be rookies who I know who Reggie Roberson is. He's the wide receiver out of Southern Methodist, who I think is going to be a good player. I think that there's an interesting product in the kicker, Caleb. I always mispronounce his name, but I believe it's Shudak. Anyway, we're not going to talk about those guys on the primetime show. It's zero. It's of interest to nobody other than Noctropolis. And again, you guys are not going to Mason Kinsey me for a second year in a row. That's how we do this thing. Buck calls his own shots. Says Bryce Erickson. It's true. It's why I do all my projects solo. It's why the radio show is a solo project. It's why the primetime show is a solo project. I guess on the podcast, I have other Titans media members, but I'm running the show. And with Greg Cosell, Greg actually runs the show, but I just ask questions and then allow Greg to make me smarter about football. I do those things, so I don't have to play by anybody's rules but my own, which is, my entitlement, but it's working so far. Anyway. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow on the radio show. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for your participation. You guys make this show possible. Support the people who support this show. That's Buddy Allen Carpet One. That's Two Rivers Ford. It's the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage.